You know that feeling when you work your entire life for something, save every penny, make every sacrifice, all for the singular goal of giving your child a better life than you had? That profound sense of accomplishment, of love made tangible, I felt that deep in my bones the day I handed my daughter Sarah the keys to her very first brand new car. It was her 25th birthday, a milestone I'd been planning for years. I wanted to give her not just a vehicle, but a symbol of freedom, independence, and my unwavering belief in her future. What I didn't know was that this symbol of love would soon become the epicenter of a bitter family feud, ignited by the most entitled, self-serving person I'd ever had the misfortune of encountering, her mother-in-law. Before we dive into this story of betrayal and sweet, sweet revenge, please take a moment to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on more true stories like this one. Your support means the world to me. Now, let's get into it. The car was a beautiful, deep sapphire blue sedan, sleek and modern, exactly what Sarah had been dreaming of. I remember the day we picked it out. Her eyes, usually so composed and thoughtful, were wide with a childlike wonder as she ran her hand over the smooth paintwork. We'd spent hours at the dealership, me secretly enjoying her excitement, pretending to haggle fiercely for a discount I knew I'd get anyway. The smell of new leather filled the cabin, a scent that still, to this day, brings a bittersweet pang to my chest. This car wasn't just metal and glass, it was a testament to years of late nights, skipped vacations, and the unwavering desire to give my daughter a better start than I had. I'd worked hard my entire life, starting from nothing. I wanted Sarah to have the security and opportunities I hadn't. And this car, this perfect, shining vehicle, was a significant step towards that. On her birthday, we gathered at our home. Sarah's husband, Mark, was there, along with his mother, Brenda. Brenda, a woman whose mere presence seemed to suck the joy out of any room, was already making passive-aggressive comments about the cost of the cake. But even her usual negativity couldn't dim Sarah's radiant smile when I presented her with the keys, wrapped in a bright red bow. "Happy birthday, sweetheart," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "It's all yours." Sarah gasped, tears welling in her eyes. She hugged me so tightly I thought my ribs might crack. "Dad, oh my God, Dad, you didn't have to," she cried, a genuine outpouring of happiness. Even Brenda, for a fleeting moment, seemed momentarily stunned into silence, her usual scowl replaced by a flicker of something I couldn't quite decipher, perhaps envy, perhaps calculation. The rest of the party was a blur of laughter, good food, and the constant stream of Sarah's friends admiring her new ride. I watched her drive away that evening, a proud father, knowing she was safe, independent, and finally had the reliable transport she needed for her job and her growing family. The car was registered in my name, with Sarah as the primary driver on the insurance. This was a practical decision, as my insurance rates were lower, and it allowed me to manage the initial paperwork more smoothly. The plan was to transfer the title fully to her once the initial financing was settled, but for all intents and purposes, it was her car. Or so I thought. A week later, I was driving home from work, lost in thought, when a flash of sapphire blue caught my eye. My heart did a strange lurch, a mix of pride and instant recognition. It was Sarah's car. But as I drew closer, my blood ran cold. The driver wasn't Sarah. It was Brenda. Her short, dyed blonde hair was unmistakable, and the way she gripped the steering wheel with that familiar air of self-importance sent a sickening twist through my gut. She was driving my daughter's brand new car, completely alone, looking as if she owned the road. I blinked, rubbed my eyes, wondering if I was mistaken. Maybe Sarah had lent it to her for an emergency. Maybe it was a one-off. But the cold dread that settled in my stomach told me otherwise. I followed discreetly for a few blocks, watching her pull into the local grocery store parking lot. She parked with an entitled flourish, got out, and walked into the store without a second glance. There was no sign of Sarah, no urgency, just Brenda, casually using a car that wasn't hers. My mind raced. This was more than just borrowing. This felt wrong, deeply, fundamentally wrong. I stewed for the rest of the evening. I tried to call Sarah, but she didn't pick up. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but the image of Brenda behind the wheel, that smug look on her face, kept replaying in my head. The next morning, I called Sarah. "Hey, sweetie." I tried to keep my voice light. "How's the new car treating you?" There was a pause, a too long pause. "Oh, it's good, Dad," she stammered. "But, actually, Mom-in-law has it right now." My heart sank. Brenda has it? Why? Is her car in the shop? "Well, yes, she said it was," Sarah replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "She said she just needed it for a day or two to run some errands and pick up the kids from school." "The kids?" I asked, confused. Sarah and Mark didn't have children yet. "My nephews, I mean," she corrected quickly. "Mark's sister's kids. Brenda helps out with them sometimes." I felt a knot tighten in my stomach. Something wasn't right. "Okay," I said, trying to sound nonchalant, "just making sure everything's all right. Call me if you need anything." Over the next few days, I became an unwitting detective. I adjusted my commute to pass by Brenda's house, or by the kids' school, or the local shops. And almost every single time, there it was. The sapphire blue sedan parked in Brenda's driveway or being driven by Brenda herself. She was using it for her daily errands, for shopping trips, for social visits. It was no longer a temporary loan. It was her car now. The anger simmered within me, a slow, burning rage. This was my gift to my daughter, a token of my love and sacrifice, being used and abused by a woman who felt entitled to everything. I knew I had to talk to Sarah again, but this time I needed the full truth. I invited her over for dinner a few days later. As we sat across from each other, the unspoken tension in the air was palpable. Sarah's eyes were downcast, her shoulders slumped. She looked tired, defeated. "Sarah," I began gently, "we need to talk about the car." She flinched, then looked up, her eyes filled with a mix of guilt and resignation. "I know, Dad. I'm so sorry." "Sorry for what, honey?" I asked, my voice softer than I felt. "For letting her take advantage of you? For not having your car?" She burst into tears. She just took it, Dad. Her car wasn't even in the shop. She just said she needed a more reliable vehicle, and since I had a brand new one, it was only fair she got to use it for a bit. Mark tried to say something, but she just steamrolled him, like she always does. She said I didn't need it as much as she did, that I could just take the bus or get rides from Mark. My heart ached for her. My strong, independent daughter, reduced to this helpless state by her domineering mother-in-law. "And you let her?" I asked, trying to keep the accusation out of my voice. "What was I supposed to do, Dad? She just shows up, takes the keys, and drives off. If I tried to argue, she'd make a scene, call me ungrateful, tell Mark what a terrible wife I am. It's not worth the fight. It never is with her." She confessed that Brenda had even started telling people it was her new car. She'd removed Sarah's personal items from the glove compartment and trunk, replacing them with her own. The car seats for the nephews were permanently installed. It was a complete takeover. I felt a cold, hard resolve settle over me. Brenda had not just borrowed the car, she had stolen it, not just from Sarah, but from me, from the love and intention behind the gift. This wasn't just about a car anymore. It was about respect, about boundaries, and about protecting my daughter from a toxic, manipulative force. I considered my options. Confronting Brenda directly was pointless. She'd just deny everything, twist the narrative, and make Sarah's life even more miserable. Calling the police wasn't an option either, as Sarah had technically given her the keys initially, however coerced. I needed a plan that was legal, irreversible, and would hit Brenda where it hurt the most, her ego and her sense of entitlement. I spent the next few days researching, making calls, and quietly preparing. The fact that the car was still registered in my name was my ace in the hole. I was the legal owner. Sarah had the primary use, but I held the ultimate authority. I called my lawyer, a no-nonsense woman named Miss Davies, and explained the situation. She listened patiently, then confirmed my suspicions. "Mr. Thompson," she said, "as the registered owner, you have every right to reclaim your property. This is not a gift that was fully transferred. It's a vehicle you own and permitted your daughter to use. Her mother-in-law is operating it without your permission." "What's the best way to do this without causing Sarah more grief?" I asked, "and making sure Brenda gets the message loud and clear." Miss Davies smiled, a glint in her eye. "We can send a formal letter, but knowing Brenda's type, she'll ignore it. The most effective way is often the most direct. You simply take your car back." I thanked her, the plan forming clearly in my mind. I would not just take the car, I would make sure Brenda knew exactly why it was being taken and who was taking it. I decided to act on a Saturday morning. I knew Brenda usually had a standing appointment at her hair salon around 9 a.m., an hour-long indulgence she never missed. I confirmed this with Sarah, who, despite her apprehension, agreed that Brenda had gone too far. "Just be careful, Dad," she pleaded, her voice still laced with fear. "She'll be furious." "Let her be," I replied, my voice firm. "She needs to learn that she can't just take what she wants." That Saturday, I drove to Brenda's house. The street was quiet, the morning sun glinting off the dew-kissed lawns. And there it was, parked proudly in her driveway, looking pristine, almost mocking me. The sapphire blue sedan, my car. I pulled my own vehicle a few houses down, out of sight. My heart hammered in my chest, a mix of anxiety and righteous fury. I walked up the driveway, the spare key heavy in my hand. I glanced around, making sure no one was watching. I didn't want a public spectacle, just a clean execution of justice. I unlocked the driver's side door. The familiar new car smell, now tinged with Brenda's cloying perfume, filled my nostrils. I pushed the start button. The engine purred to life, a beautiful sound that sent a shiver of satisfaction down my spine. I backed out of the driveway, slowly, deliberately. I didn't speed off. I wanted to savor the moment, to let the silence of the street amplify the sound of the engine, a silent roar of defiance. As I drove away, I pulled out my phone and called Sarah. "It's done," I said, simply. "Oh, Dad, thank you." I drove the car to a secure, long-term parking lot several towns away and parked it. I removed the license plates and locked it up tight. Then I headed back home, waiting for the inevitable. It didn't take long. My phone rang around 10:30 a.m. It was Brenda. Her voice, usually sharp, was now a piercing shriek. "Where is my car?" she screamed, bypassing any pleasantries. "Brenda," I said, my voice calm, almost unnervingly so. "That's not your car." "What do you mean it's not my car? I left it in my driveway. Someone stole it. I'm calling the police." "Go ahead," I said, my voice steady. "Tell them you're reporting your daughter's birthday gift, which was registered in her father's name, stolen from your driveway after you'd been driving it around for weeks without permission." There was a moment of stunned silence on the other end, a rare occurrence for Brenda. Then her voice returned, laced with venom. You did this! You took my car! You can't do that! It's mine now!" "No, Brenda," I corrected, my voice firm. "It's my car. I bought it. It's registered in my name. I let Sarah use it. You, on the other hand, stole it from her, and now I've taken back what's mine. You were never entitled to it. You were never given permission to use it beyond a day or two, if that. You took advantage of my daughter's kindness and tried to claim something that wasn't yours. Consider this a lesson in boundaries." Her response was a string of expletives, threats, and accusations. She swore she'd make my life and Sarah's a living hell. I simply listened until she started to repeat herself, then calmly said, "Have a good day, Brenda," and hung up. The fallout was explosive, as expected. Brenda did call the police, who informed her that it was a civil matter, as I was the registered owner. She called Mark, who was caught in the middle, embarrassed and furious at his mother's behavior, but too weak to truly stand up to her. Sarah was relieved, but also tearful about the inevitable family drama. Brenda spread vicious rumors about me, about Sarah, about how we were heartless and had left her stranded. But the truth, as it often does, eventually came out. Sarah, empowered by my actions, finally started setting boundaries with Brenda. She told Mark that his mother's behavior was unacceptable and that their marriage couldn't survive if he continued to enable her. It was a tough period, filled with arguments and emotional turmoil, but it was necessary. I eventually retrieved the car, had it thoroughly detailed to remove any trace of Brenda, and officially transferred the title to Sarah. This time, there were no strings attached, no loopholes. It was truly hers, a fresh start. The relationship with Brenda, predictably, was irrevocably severed. She never forgave me, or Sarah, for what she saw as an unforgivable slight. But for me, and more importantly, for Sarah, it was a liberation. She drove that car with a renewed sense of pride and freedom, knowing it was truly hers, and that she had someone in her corner who would always stand up for her. It wasn't just about the car. It was about reclaiming dignity, setting boundaries, and teaching a valuable lesson to someone who desperately needed it. It was a painful experience, but sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply taking back what's rightfully yours. What do you think? Was I right to reclaim what was mine, or should I have handled it differently? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more true stories, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, stay safe and stand up for what's right.